welcome into the Knicks-Verse Syndicate pregame show with Sports Vibes TV. Quis, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, how's everything with you? Enjoying your day so far?
I am enjoying my day. All right, well, today we are going to talk about mostly how we can get rid of Julius Randle this summer.
How we can get better.
Yeah, that's mostly what this is going to be about. There's been a debate. Some people are saying his value has dropped, making it harder to trade Julius. But we're going to look into it. We're going to see what it would take to move him and who might be interesting potential trade partners for him, and including one in particular, which is close to my heart.
Yeah, I'm sure.
One in particular idea, and we'll get to it here. All right. First of all, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that thumbs up button for us. And please subscribe to Sports Vibes TV as well. And drop your comments later on if some thoughts you get based upon what we've been talking about here, or whatever whatever pops in your head. Just drop it in the comment section. We read them all, and we really appreciate those comments. All right, we are now going to go to the next trade partner idea, which actually is gaining some steam right about now out there in the Twitterverse. Can a Zion-for-Julius trade work? This was posted today. Jordan Schultz, and you guys should check out this link. It's actually an interview with him. He talks about this. Says he doesn't know if Zion Williamson is ever going to play for the Pelicans again. I think it's a very good chance he will not be back and they will trade him this summer. Okay, I'm going to just say this right now. If the Pelicans are open to trading Zion this summer, I am willing to take the risk and acquire him by practically any means necessary, practically, except for trading RJ Barrett. And I have a specific take on why. But first, before we get into the specifics of the trade, Quis, what is your feelings about this in general?
I mean, you look at Zion. You know Zion's a talented player, but I'm still a little skeptical. I mean, we did see highlights. He's on court. He got cleared for one-on-one contact today. There's highlights of him dunking on one of his.
Dunking.
Was it a teammate or a coach?
I think it was a coach. And
one of the two.
Yeah,
well, the fact that he's dunking on anybody is a big plus for the New Orleans
and
Pelicans.
He looked,
so that's nice to see. He looked
and
fit.
it looked great.
Yeah, he didn't look out of. He didn't look like he was in tip-top shape, but he didn't look like he was overweight or anything like that. So that's a positive. And me personally, though, to put forth the type of package that it would take to bring in a Zion, I got to see him out there on the court, man. It's too many variables. You look at the type of injury that he sustained. You look at the reoccurrence rate of that injury is pretty high. So to know that he has some of the issues with his conditioning, to know he has the injury history over his first 3 seasons, to give up the amount of assets that it would take to bring him in without him even getting on the court first, to me, I think is something that I'd have to be skeptical about, because to make that trade and for it to not work out, I think you just completely reset the timetable to build toward a championship, because you're going to have to gut the roster, and then you're also going to have to at some point pay Zion. So if he's not going to step up and be the type of player that we think he's going to be, then you're going to have to invest a lot and not get the right amount of value in return. So for me, I just got to see him back out there on the court, show that he's healthy, show that he can, same thing with Mitchell Robinson. You want him on the court, seeing what he can do this season before you give him the bag. And I would want to do the same thing with the Zion, see him out there performing, on the court before I try and make a trade and then have to pay him that max deal, which is right around the corner. Because we still have to pay RJ as well. And then, I mentioned Mitch, we're going to have to pay Mitch. So there's a lot of things, a lot of variables when you look at this roster and trying to bring in a young guy like Zion.
Those are excellent points. You're making excellent points.
What was it like to finally get to play in the Garden in the pros?
I'm glad you asked that, actually. I mean, New York is the mecca of basketball. I love playing. I love playing here. I played here in college, and this is my first time playing here in the pros. And I mean, this atmosphere, you know, whether they're cheering for you, whether they're booing for you, it's amazing. Honestly, I think outside of New Orleans, obviously, I think this might be my favorite place to play outside of New Orleans. I can't even lie to you. I can't lie to you.
Now, it has been rumored that it's almost inevitable that Zion Williamson will end up with the New York Knicks. And that all of this that's been happening this year is a way to convince the New Orleans Pelicans that he is serious about wanting to be a Knick. Now, he can't specifically ask for it, but we've heard his family talk about it. We heard the interview of him like just lighting up like a kid in the candy store, like a kid in a toy store at Christmas time, you know, about the Garden. Remember how happy he was?
Yep.
Oh man, I'm glad you asked that question. Remember that? Yep. I love what he said.
Yeah, this is definitely going to work right into my plan to get to the Garden.
Exactly. So, and I totally respect, and I have a similar concerns about his health. However, this is my point on this is my situation on Zion. Once in a generation does a guy like this come around. He was in year 2, after only playing 20-something games in year 1. In year 2, he was destroying the entire NBA. He was averaging 61% field goal. He was doing Will Chamberlain type numbers. And he also passes the ball. He also it has that kind of point forward aspect to his game that Stan Van Gundy was trying to really bring out of him, and he was pulling it off. His ability to get to the hoop, there's nobody in the NBA other than Giannis who can even come close to Zion. Like, he is unstoppable. And I've said this for quite a while. I know everyone's been on the John Morant bandwagon, but in my opinion, the championship after this season, after this year, the NBA championships will run through Luka or Zion, wherever they are. Those two guys are perennial all-NBA type talent. Once in a generation. We're lucky to have them right now together, which is awesome. And Ja's fantastic too, but Ja's little. You know, look at the teams that win consistently. They win consistently when their very best players are bigger guys. It's just a fact of life. There are very few Iversons out there, very few Isaiah Thomases out there. You usually win with a LeBron. You win with the Giannis. The Warriors were a little special, but they also have Draymond Green, who's just a freak of nature. Never been anyone like him before in his style of play. Who else? I'm blanking on somebody else. Kawhi. Kawhi. KD and Kawhi. There you go. Your best player needs to be someone who's at least 6'5", 6'6", and up. And Ja's not, but Ja has tremendous abilities. Maybe he'll win it one year. Maybe he can, to get the right team with him. But these guys, Zion and Luka, they get the right pieces around them. They will forever be contenders because they are special generational talents. There's just not, and they don't look at this year's draft. There's no one even close. Even last year's draft, and I love Cade, I love all those guys and everything. They're not Zion. He's a once in a generation type guy. So if we have a chance to get him, I think he's worth the risk. Do you structure a contract in a way that has some kind of like an Embiid type contract? We could do that.
You have no leverage, bro. You traded for him.
Not necessarily.
You lose all leverage because at that point, if you trade trade the assets it's going to take to bring in a Zion, you cannot let him.
But we have nothing anyway. We're a mediocre team anyway.
Yeah, but we're going to lose any ability to build in the future in order to get him, because we're gonna give majority of. Come on, George. You're not gonna give a boatload of first and a boatload of young talent, and then say, okay, Zion, you don't want to take this, stipulation in the contract. Adios. That's not how it works. He has leverage.
Hey, it worked with Embiid,
and they didn't trade for Embiid.
But it's still,
and they could have given him the most money. They don't
have to sign him till next year after anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, once we invest that much in trading for him, that's basically saying we're gonna sign him, because there's no that's
and I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take that risk because I want to win a championship. The New York Knicks will not win a championship until we get one of the 5 very best players in the game.
That I don't disagree with. All I'm saying is if you make this trade for Zion, it's going to be hard for you to negotiate all these stipulations when you just traded a boatload to get him here.
I don't see why that makes a difference, though, that you traded
because
you don't. Because Randle, we want to get rid of. IQ,
multiple first-round picks.
Yeah, 3 first-round picks.
Cam. So now, if we don't have Zion, what are we going to do to build this team with no Zion? We don't have the picks. Because if he does, I'm saying he has the leverage.
Yeah, but you're hedging more on him never being able to play, which rarely happens in the NBA.
No. I'm saying, I'm talking about just contracts. You're not about trading for him and the risk involved. I'm just saying, if we trade for him, you said put a stipulation in saying that, if you're injured, et cetera, but if once we make this trade, all the leverage is in Zion's court. But Zion has all the leverage.
I don't agree that he has all the leverage. Also, number 2, he wants out. I mean, this is all predicated on him wanting out of New Orleans.
Yep.
So if he wants out of New Orleans, and remember the whole CAA relationship, Zion CAA, Randle CAA, Thibs CAA, Leon CAA, they're all CAA. They're gonna figure out a way to make this where if things go wrong, everyone still kind of has some kind of safety valve. Yes, he gets paid, but maybe the contract maybe it's short. Maybe it's a 3+1. And the one is a team option.
Talk about that type of money, man. He's gonna want his full bag, especially when you're injured. I don't think when you got the injury like he has.
You realize that he makes more money than any other player in the NBA who's not playing. In terms of not other than salary, the deal he has struck with Nike is tremendous.
But George, how many players leave money on the table? Let's be honest here. There's not too many players that leave money on the table. The only time you really see players leave money on the table is if they're like role players, or they do like LeBron, Bosh, and Wade, where they may leave $1 or $2 on the table just to get under the cap.
I will say this:
Zion,
almost every player that has won a championship has left money on the table.
It's a different, but those players, that's a different NBA. The Tim Duncans of the world and things like that. That's a different.
Even LeBron left a lot of money. Dwayne Wade left a lot of money on the table for years.
Yeah, I mentioned those 3, but those I hear you, but those 3 got together and said, all right, we're gonna leave some money on the table. I don't see Zion dealing with an injury, dealing with inflation, leaving money on the table.
All right. I think there's a possibility that there's a way to make this thing happen.
And another thing, we can't have Cam in this deal either. We need those 3 together.
I put him in there because he's I think he's
to make the money work.
To make the money work, number 1, and number 2, I mean, originally someone else had Obi on here, but why would they take Obi if they're getting Randle as well? It didn't make much sense to me. So to me,
I kind of cracked the joke with you. I said if Obi's included in that deal, he might retire. What's the point of playing in the NBA?
All right, that was the deal that I
Randle again.
All right. In my opinion, Zion is totally worth the gamble. In life, to get yourself out of the situation that you're in, you have to take risks sometimes. I mean, look what the Warriors did with Steph Curry early on in his career. I mean, he had bad ankles. He was constantly hurt. It looked like he was never going to, be able to deliver on the promise of his sweet shot. But they stuck
he took
with
a
him.
lot on he took because he took below market,
and he took below market
contract.
Yep.
But then again, he was also on the team that drafted him. Wade did it on the team that drafted him. Yeah. The Spurs, with Tim Duncan on the team that drafted him.
But Zion wanted Knicks to be the team that drafted him.
True. I mean, he's also going to have to deal with New York taxes too when he comes over. He's not leaving anybody on the table, man.
Yes. Yeah. Here's the other thing. Here's the other way that this could also work, where it's like a shorter term first contract that he signs with us, because like we talked about this, I think it was over the weekend. There's a new TV deal coming with the NBA, and it's going to increase the salary cap like somewhere between like 35 to 45%. It's going to go up that high. So he'll be getting his $45 million at some point, maybe later on. Let's put it this way. In my opinion, if the Pelicans are thinking about moving on from Zion, and they seems like they should, because he doesn't really want to be there, and they need to get something for him in return. And if they wait till next year, it might be too late. This is the year to do it, because also there is a risk that he doesn't make it back to like midway through the season next year, and then it doesn't really answer the questions that you have. Yep. Can his body handle it? Mm-hmm. So either way, the buyer's going to be taking an uninformed risk at some point anyway, unless he comes back and he plays a full season. That's different. And then but they're hedging their bets on that. So if this is something that's possible, I think Leon and the Knicks have to be all over it and try to make this happen. It also includes Randle. So it's a win, potentially a double win for us. We get rid of a guy that we know it's soured here in New York, and we get back potentially someone who could make a claim for being the very best player in the NBA in a few years from now. Thank you guys for joining us, man. Again, if you guys haven't subscribed, please do so, along with hitting the thumbs up buttons when you get a chance, and subscribe to Sports Vibes TV